So we will continue our tutorial on RM SCADA. Now, next step is to start the PubNub from ignition. So for that, there are two flags are defined here, two tags are defined. So you have to set the flag true by clicking this button. Now it will start the PubNub script, Python script, which is defined in the ignition. And now you can just open the wrapper file just to make sure everything is working all right. So it is calling initialization of PubNub and starting PubNub, and everything is working normal. Next step is to start a timer. It will start a 5-second timer in ignition, which will publish the packets, the dashboard packets onto ignition or onto the PubNub. So again, have a look at the wrapper file. It says setting the timer on. So now the packets are getting published, and in order to visualize those, you have to go to the RMS folder and right click on this HTML file. You can call it anything. So we have defined all the dashboards there, so we have called it all.html. Now this displays the HTML page where we have configured the dashboards. Yeah. So these dashboards start updating once in 5 seconds. So if you remember, we have defined one trend chart, one bar chart, 4 gauges, and one pie chart into this HTML file, into these panels. So yeah. So another dashboard is the states.html. If you open this in a browser, so here you can visualize the ignition parameters that you defined in your database in a tabular format. It's something like this. So it defines all the database. There's a tagged name, description, and the actual real-time value. Its units and its condition and limits. So these tags are in normal state. So there is no condition associated with it, and there is no limit defined for this, if you remember from the tag.txt file. So if some tag is in alarm state, it will be displayed with the color code. So this tag in state 2, and this is in state 1, and its current value is 100, and its limits are greater than 80. The condition is greater than, and the threshold value is 80, and its state is called very high. So as we have defined in the tags.txt file. Now these values will not update, refresh automatically by default. So we have to click refresh. Just have a look at the time. It is showing a snapshot at this time. So if you have to refresh, you have to click this. Now it gives you the current time. This is just to minimize the bandwidth. There is no point in continuously updating values. But if you want to see values updated every 5 seconds, there is a flag provided here. If you click this, now it will update the values, fetch the values from ignition once in a 5 second. Whereas these dashboards, these trends, they automatically refresh every 5 seconds. Only the state table is updated automatically only when you click this. Right now nothing is changing in ignition because ignition is not driving any simulation or any real plant. So values are static unless we change it in the database ourselves. For example, this tag 10, let's say if you want to change tag 10 from 100 to 90. So it will reflect in the yeah, the value has changed here, as well as it will change here as well. Where is tag 10? I think tag 10 is not configured, as you can see in the trends. Anyway, maybe we can change something. Now you should be able to see tag. Yeah, this tag 5 has changed from 60 to whatever. Okay. Yeah, that's all about dashboards that you can see using RMS module. Another most important use of this is that its ability to be visualized onto mobile phones. So to be able to visualize on mobile phones, I cannot show you a live demo of mobile phone, but I've just taken some screenshot. So visualizing onto Android is quite straightforward. What you have to do is basically copy all the files from RMS folders, all these HTML and JS files, copy it using the USB cable, drag and drop onto your Android phone, and then right click and open the all.html. Or there is no right click there, you just double click or tap on the all.html and stage.html, and you'll be able to see the dashboards. So I've got some screenshots which are shown here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is exactly the same what you see in a laptop. Same thing is visible onto the Android phone screens and the state table, etc. The only thing is that for Android, you may have to download a small app called Open in a browser. Just search on the Play Store, Google Play Store, Open in a browser, and download. It's a pretty small app. Then you will be able to visualize the HTML pages onto the browser. So Android is pretty straightforward, whereas for iOS, you will need a utility, and there's a link given here which explains the steps, how you can copy the files. So transferring files with a wired connection. So here again, basically you have to download a file manager and browser. It's an app, free app on Android, iOS, which you have to download and install. Then connect your phone to the computer via USB cable, and you'll have to download iTunes on your laptop or Apple Mac, whichever computer you're using, and then using this file share tool, you can basically drag and drop the files onto the iOS phone. You're using the add button. You can add all the files from RMS folder into this iOS phone, and then you're ready to go. So the screenshot for the iOS is shown here. So after you copy this, so there is a file manager utility. If you double click the file manager on iOS, it will display all your files onto that you just copied. So these are the dashboard files and the JS files. You have to just double click that, double tap onto that, and then it will again display the same dashboards. So So basically, this RMS allows you to monitor these dashboards of key parameters of ignition and any of the uh, numerical values of the database in a tabular format quite easily. So that's all about the tutorial. So thanks a lot for watching, and will request you to evaluate this RMS tool, which is fully functional when you download. So you can experiment with it and apply for your customer projects. So you can buy the license only when you are satisfied and you feel value, and you realize the uh, return on your investment. So thanks a lot.